Well, I don't know if that's the truth or not, but it does make me feel a little better. Thanks, guys. The two couples made small talk the rest of the way and soon were pulling up in front of the courthouse. It was still a few minutes before the polls would open, but there was a crowd. Rob was out front with a small army of supporters, and he was pressing flesh and flashing his best smile. Barney was on the other side of the wide sidewalk that led to the entrance, doing his best Andy Griffith impression. Mark noticed several uniformed deputies who supported Barnes were there, helping him pass out flyers and greet people. Mark knew many of the deputies supported Rob, but none of them could be seen. Mark walked up to Rob. "Morning, Mark," Rob said loudly. They shook hands and the new politician smiled. "Morning. How come none of your friends from the sheriff's office are helping you?" Rob stepped in closer and lowered his voice. "Seems all of my supporters are on the day shift this week, and somehow all of his have night shifts." Mark was pissed. "That's not right. Why don't you call the son of a bitch on it?" "It's okay, Mark," Rob reassured his friend. "You're not the first person to ask about it. Word will get around, and the rumor mill will do him more harm than me calling him out and letting him fix it or make up some reason." Mark smiled. "You're getting the hang of the politics game, aren't you?" Rob nodded. "With some help," he added. Soon the doors opened, and everyone lined up to vote. The line moved faster than Mark had expected. When he got to the front and his voter's registration card was checked, he was given a ballot and sent to a makeshift box. It only took a second since there was only the sheriff's position to vote on. He handed his finished ballot to a man who made sure there was only one ballot and then deposited it into a locked metal box. The Silver Hills foursome met outside and after wishing Rob good luck, returned to their truck. The drive home went quickly for Mark as he found himself more optimistic about the election outcome. The briefing with Gunny went quickly as all three men had done this before. Gunny ran down the information he required when they had it, or if they hadn't seen anyone by the third morning, they were to come home. Mark hoped the gang was there for two reasons. First, they needed to be dealt with, and second, he hoped they didn't have to stay for 3 days watching nothing. After the short briefing, Mark went home and got his weapons and gear ready for the 2 or 3 day stakeout. He spent the rest of the day with his family. The late afternoon trip went smoothly. They saw no one on the highways and only noticed a few occupied farmhouses when they got onto the county roads. Others looked as if they'd been abandoned for years. It was hard to believe that in only 3.5 months the world had changed so much. At one of the farms there were several men working in a field with several others providing security. Even at a distance, Mark could see the men watch their truck carefully until it passed out of sight. He wondered if others were watching that he couldn't see. A chill went down his back. Mark slowed down even more and watched for trouble as the other two men continued to talk about the election. Rolf had gone to vote later in the day and reported that there were many more people than he'd expected. Mark pondered if a high turnout would be good for Rob. He hoped so. Just as the sun was setting, they found a good spot to hide the truck. They removed their gear and covered the truck with some camouflage netting and fallen branches. The men put on their packs and struck out for the ranch house.